Hi, garden friend. Have you ever struggled to keep your houseplants alive? Same. My plants just weren't thriving until I figured out these 5 tips. Today I'm showing you exactly what they are. Oh, and at the end of this video, I've got a really special plant to show you that you may have never even seen before. So if you're ready, let's go, shall we? I used to think that I just wasn't a plant person. Like some people have that magic touch and I just didn't. But it wasn't actually about having a green thumb. It was about understanding what my plants actually needed. Today I'm sharing the things that completely transformed my plant care. And I'm actually going to repot one live so you can see the process. These are simple changes, but they make all the difference. So let's get into it. So the first mistake that I was making, I was watering everything on the same schedule. And I thought I was being responsible, keeping a schedule. But that's actually what was killing them. And here's what I learned. Not all plants need the same watering schedule. This snake plant is drought tolerant and it stores water in its leaves. This needs to completely dry out between waterings. We're talking bone dry. Once I stopped watering on autopilot and started paying attention to what each plant needed, everything changed. The second thing I was doing wrong, lighting. I had all my plants in the same corner of my living room because I thought that's where they look good with my decor. But some of them were stretching toward the window, getting leggy. Others just sad looking. Turns out light requirements actually matter. Most houseplants do best in bright indirect light. That means near a window, but not in the direct path of the sun. Snake plants are the exception. Super forgiving. They can handle low light, medium light, and bright light. That's why they're perfect for beginners. Here's your rule of thumb. If your plant is stretching, getting leggy, or the leaves are losing color, it just needs more light. I rearranged my plants based on their light needs, and within a few weeks, I could really see the difference. The Pothos is one of the easiest houseplants you can own. Let the soil dry out between waterings, usually about once a week. Pop your finger an inch into the soil, and if it's dry, water it. The biggest mistake? Overwatering. Want faster growth and vibrant leaves? Give it that bright indirect spot. The bottom line, this is very hard to kill and it's very easy to love. And hey, if you're finding this helpful, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I've got a lot more plant care tips coming your way. Let's talk about drainage. That's one thing that was sabotaging me. Drainage or the lack of it. So here's what you need. Drainage holes. This is non-negotiable. Your pot needs holes in the bottom so excess water can escape. If you love a pot that doesn't have a drainage hole, and I totally get it, some of them are gorgeous. Use them as a decorative cover. Keep your plant in a nursery pot inside it. And the soil matters too. Regular potting mix works for most plants, but for succulents like snake plants and aloe, you need to use a cactus mix or add some perlite. Once I fixed my drainage system, I stopped losing plants to root rot. And the last thing, fertilizing. For the longest time, I didn't fertilize at all. I thought the soil had everything that the plant needed, but over time, those nutrients get depleted. So now, during spring and summer, which is the growing season, I use a diluted liquid fertilizer once a month, half strength. Most fertilizers are too strong at full concentration. In fall and winter, I don't fertilize at all. Plants aren't actively growing then, so they don't need it. Keep it simple, and your plants will totally respond. Now this can be very intimidating, and that is repotting. I was really intimidated by repotting. I avoided repotting for so long because I thought I was going to somehow kill the plant. Let me show you how to do this, because once you see it, you'll realize it's way easier than you thought. First, how do you know it's time? Well, if roots are coming out of the drainage holes, and if water's running straight through without absorbing, or the plant is tipping over because it's top heavy, grab a pot. That's only 1 to 2 inches bigger. So we'll go from this size to this size. Now, this is a little bit bigger pot than what I would normally use. However, I think it will be just fine. So when you repot your plant, it encourages the roots to grow. And this is what I always use. It's called Esfoma, and I'll link the description down below. And any of these other supplies, I'll put those in the description as well. And so let's get started. We'll just place fresh soil in the bottom of the pot. Now remember, we have a drainage hole. So you always want to remember to sterilize your pot before you add additional soil. Make a small well in the bottom of the pot. And this spider plant, now these are very easy to grow, but as you can see, the roots have girdled around a little bit. Now this is not terribly root bound. I think that it's time to repot this. Now all we want to do is just rough up the roots a little bit, and that will get the plants to stop growing in a circular motion. And just make sure you add your soil. Make that well in the middle of the pot. You want to make sure the height of the plant is the same as it was in the smaller pot. So you don't want to cover it up too much. So make sure you remove a little bit of the soil from right around the base of the plant. And there we go. We have a freshly potted plant. Now this is a spider plant, and these are super easy to grow. And as you can see, they get little babies on them. And what you can do is you can just snip these little babies off, and you can put them in some water, and you can start a new plant. Spider plant, don't be afraid to repot your plants. Here we go with one more beautiful plant before I show you that special plant. And this is really timely with the holidays coming up. Christmas cactus. Let's talk about Christmas cactus and how to actually get it to bloom. So here's what you need to know. These plants need some darkness. Christmas cactus need about 12 to 14 hours of complete darkness every night for about 6 weeks to set the buds. This usually starts in October. So if your plant is in a room where lights are on at night, that could be part of your problem. You can move it into a room that stays dark, or you can put it in a closet overnight. Christmas cactus need cooler temps to trigger blooming, ideally around 50 to 55 degrees at night. So a cooler room, or even near a window where it gets a little chillier at night, can really help. And cut back on watering during this bud setting period. Not completely, but get it a little drier than usual. This stresses the plant just enough to encourage blooming. And once you see those buds forming, you can go back to normal care. Keep the soil evenly moist, bring it back to normal room temperature, and don't move it around. Christmas cactus can drop their buds if you move them once they've started forming buds. Do these things and you'll get an absolutely stunning display of blooms right when you want them, just in time for the holidays. Now, before I show you that special plant I promised, I wanted to talk about this guy. This is my ficus, and I've had this plant for 15 years. 15 years! And you know what? It drops leaves constantly, like all the time. And for years, I thought I was doing something wrong. But here's what I learned. Ficus are a little dramatic. They drop leaves when you move them, when the light changes, when the temperature shifts. The thing is, despite all that leaf drop, this plant has continued to grow. It's the largest houseplant in my home, and it's thriving. So if you have a ficus and it's dropping leaves, don't panic. As long as it's still putting out new growth and all the leaves aren't turning yellow at once, it's probably fine. Ficus just do that. Keep the watering consistent, give it bright indirect light, and try not to move it around too much. Sometimes plants are a little high maintenance, and that's okay. My ficus, I love it. So now for that special plant I promised you at the beginning. This is a rickrack cactus. It's also called Fishbone cactus. I can't pronounce the botanical name, so I'll pop it on the screen. But look at these leaves. See how they have zigzag fishbone pattern? It's absolutely stunning. Most people have never even heard of this plant, but it's one of my absolute favorites. And here's the best part. Once you know these 5 things that we just covered, this plant is pretty easy to care for. In nature, it grows on trees, so it doesn't like to sit in wet soil. And yes, it needs drainage holes, just like everything else we talked about. Drainage during the growing season, you can fertilize it monthly at half strength, just like the other plants. And if you take good care of it, you might even get lucky and see it bloom. The flowers are incredible. These 5 changes took me from a brown thumb to a green thumb. If this was helpful, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And please drop a comment and tell me what your biggest plant struggle is. I hope this has given you some inspiration today. I hope you're having a great gardening day. And I'll catch you in the next one.